Maverick to range control, entering point Alpha, confirm green range, is the scene of Top Gun Maverick that we're going to be looking at today in Intention Monday. Hey, my name's Rishi Patel. I'm the founder of Selling in Alignment, where I work with coaches and consultants to reprice and package their services so they can discover and live their purpose. This Intention Monday is one that I've wanted to do for quite a while. This is an incredibly powerful scene from the movie Top Gun Maverick. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. So, that we can see the sound is working just great, and we are live. If you are tuning in live, let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're on replay, hashtag replay, let me know what you take away from this. We're going to look at this scene from Top Gun Maverick, and we're going to pull the lessons from it for business, for lives, for how we can continue to improve ourselves and our offering and how we work with our customers from this scene in Top Gun Maverick. So super excited about this. Let's get straight into it. We're going to use some slides today. So I'm going to start right at the top with the first line here. So first of all, he says, as I said on the opening, Maverick to range control entering point Alpha. Even before we get to that, I'm going to set a little context actually for Top Gun Maverick. To understand this live, to understand this Intention Monday, you do have to have seen the movie, and that will set the context for you. But just briefly, this is the sequel to Top Gun, which was a movie that came out in the 80s starring Tom Cruise, who played the role of Maverick, who was a fighter pilot, and they created this whole documentary around a movie around Top Gun, which is the most elite fighters in the States at dogfighting. They want to improve their dogfighting skills. So they set up this elite academy for pilots, and they called it Top Gun. And Top Gun Maverick, of course, the sequel to that. So going straight into today's live, what can we take from this scene is the question that we're asking, that we can really apply into our lives, into our businesses, into the way in which we work with our customers, into the way with which we serve our customers. So going straight into it, the opening line here for the scene was Maverick to range control, entering point Alpha. Now, why I'm starting there is because it is just that, a starting point. It's a starting point to the scene, and it's a starting point to a journey. It's the start point of the mission. That point Alpha, which is on the map, on the coordinates that were set up inside of that map on the heads-up display inside of the cockpit, is the start point of the mission. Now, to create any set of goals that we want to measure progress around, to create any kind of a journey, even if you're just getting in your car and driving from, I don't know, London to Nottingham, let's say, you want to have a start point where you currently are, which will move, because the start point was fixed, but where you currently are will move. So you want a start point. With a start point and the end point, the exact address in Nottingham, you will be able to make a route. And if there's a roadblock somewhere, the sat-nav will divert you. So what we have there by saying that first line of the movie, what makes it so powerful is that what is created is a start point. Now, the second step of the second slide that I want to share here, if we move on to the next slide, he says, the range control radios him back and says they don't see an event scheduled for him, and he says, well, I'm going anyway. Now, why is this a really powerful line? Well, there's something here where he's rebelling against authority. And that's a very typical character trait for Maverick inside of the Top Gun series of films. Now, it's making great TV, it's making a great movie, and that rebellingness, once makes us get onto his side. But there's more to it than just that. By making that statement, well, I'm going anyway, he's making a declaration that he's cutting off everything else. He's cutting off the idea of not going. He's cutting off the idea of not doing this. He's fixated his mind, his being, and everything now on creating a possibility. A possibility that is going to inspire and move and really just touch the people inside of that classroom. So inside the classroom where this scene takes place, the 3-star admiral has said to the junior pilots, look, Maverick's no longer an instructor, he's been kicked out, and, we're setting the mission parameters to be this, this, and this. And Maverick doesn't buy it. He wants to prove that this mission can be run in this space of time. So he gets into the plane, he says, well, I'm going anyway, right? There's no event scheduled for him. Well, I'm going anyway. What he does there is make a decision. And inside of making a decision, this is what we can really take from this, is there is responsibility and ownership. These two elements are locked. They're locked. You absolutely have to take responsibility and ownership for how you're showing up. This is incredibly powerful, right? If you make a decision to steal a multi-million-dollar plane, in this case, and then you screw something up, you take responsibility and you take ownership over the consequences. There'll be consequences to that. And so what he's saying inside of that line, well, I'm going anyway, is he's parking aside all of the limiting beliefs that may be popping up in his mind. And he's just making a declaration that I'm standing for a possibility that's going to leave the people that are watching this touched, moved, and inspired. And that is incredibly powerful. So we want to create a possibility. We can do this with our business, with our mission, with our vision, with what we stand for, our purpose inside of our business. When clients come to us in a discovery call, we're explaining our story to them and how our story lines up with what we want to create, the change we want to see through our coaching businesses and through our coaching practice. We can really connect people to a possibility that leaves them touched, moved, and inspired. We can take this as an example from Maverick. All right, so then if we go over to the next slide, he then goes on to say, setting time to target, 2 minutes, 15 seconds. And 2 minutes 15 was not going to be the done thing. It was not going to be possible to fly this mission in 2 minutes, 15 seconds. The junior pilots that were learning inside of the school with Maverick in the lead up to this scene could not complete the course in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And so what he wanted to prove was that it was possible. So he set time to target 2 minutes, 15 seconds, and then Payback, one of these junior pilots, even says, 2:15, that's impossible. And so what that's really doing for us as viewers of this movie is just painting the picture of how difficult this is going to be. And of course, again, we're making great movie by just creating this picture around this is going to be really difficult to do, but we're going to do it anyway. We're going to make the impossible possible. And that's what Maverick does, right? He stands for that in the Top Gun movies, making the impossible possible. And so what we've got to get from this is that there's often going to be resistance inside what we're doing. You know, it may be from people outside, or it may be from our own minds, our own limitations, our own beliefs around, hey, you know, I can't do this. I can't charge my worth. I can't bundle together that high-end, high-value package. I can't bundle together that high-end, high-value package. I don't deserve to make that kind of money. You know, all of these different types of things can start to come up. And these are all limitations. And what we really are doing there is just echoing back what Payback is saying to everyone in the classroom, 2:15, that's impossible. Maverick doesn't buy it. He stands for that possibility, right? So that's the line that we're looking at. And again, it's just really about creating possibilities. And what he's done here is set a target. And now what we're going to look at is how this entire thing ties into SMART goals, which is really, really incredible. And today I'm going to go a little bit over 10 minutes, which is what Intention Monday is normally all about. But we may go to 12 and a half minutes or even 15 minutes because there's so much packed into this scene. And I really want to dissect it because there's a ridiculous amount of power there, which we can apply to the week and to our businesses and our lives. The final slide says, final attack point, Maverick's inbound. And at this point, a decision is made that he doesn't care about anything. He's going. And that decision was made earlier. And what he's now confirming is that not only does he have the start point, entering point alpha, but he's also got a final attack point, right? Which he's saying final attack point. And he's just declaring that that's it. He's going for it. Maverick's inbound. He's not going to stop for anything. It doesn't matter what comes up now inside of the next 2 minutes and 15 seconds. He is going for it. It's going to be unstoppable. And again, what can we take from this? We can take from it the idea that once we have a picture so clear and a compelling why, a compelling purpose, we can use these elements to bring these elements together and use them to really drive everything that we're doing forward, the way we show up, our coaching businesses, you know, everything inside of content that we put out there. It doesn't matter what we take. If we set a target to serve a certain number of clients, to uplift the lives of a certain number of clients, we are getting there no matter what, because we have our start point, entering point alpha, and we have our end point, final attack point, Mavericks inbound. And that's what you want to say to yourself when you set yourself up for any meeting. And I do this for myself, which is that I declare to the universe what I want to create from each call that I jump on. Be it just a connection call, be it a call to serve someone, be it a call to talk them through my offering or my service. We really want to stand for a greater possibility. And inside of the mind of our prospect, inside of the mind of the amazing clients that we're serving, they may not be able to see the possibility. They may not be able to understand, what the transformation they can get at the end of the process of working with you. But what they can absolutely get, what they'll absolutely have from this is this amazing, amazing feeling from you that, you've got it, you've got them, you're going to hold the space, you're going to create that space for them, to hold that space, to have transformation occur. And we can only do that once we have a start point and an end point, and then the journey itself can be plotted. And that's what Mavericks created inside of this scene, and that's why it's so incredibly powerful. Now, there's a couple of things that have also happened inside of here as well. What we have is a SMART goal. Now, SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time-based. Now, a SMART goal, in essence, is a goal that has complete clarity, that you can measure progress around, and you can track. And it's realistic and it's achievable. How has Maverick created a SMART goal from just these 4 lines in the movie? Well, pretty simple, right? The answer is what he's done here. What's so incredibly powerful is that he's been specific. So specific is the S. And how has he been specific? Well, he's got a start and a finish point. The start point is clear, the finish point is clear. Entering point alpha, final attack point. A roadmap is now being created inside his HUD, inside his heads-up display, inside of the cockpit of this F-18 that he's piloting. He's got an exact display which has his start and end point. He knows exactly what it is. It's very specific. It's laser focused. That's specific. That's the S in SMART. Now he goes on to measurable. Can he measure if he's successful in this goal? Well, the answer is yes, because the final target point is a small box that's on the ground, which is less than 3 meters wide. And he has to fire some missiles at the end of this 2-minute, 15-second run, which has to hit and destroy that box. That's how he's going to be able to measure the M, measure his success. Then he has achievable. Now, it may not seem like this goal is achievable. And again, that's what makes a great movie. Looking at the goal and seeing that, hey, maybe it's not achievable. And yet somehow he makes it happen. Is it realistic? Again, not really. It's not really realistic. And Payback even says that in that line where he actually says to him, 2:15, that's impossible. And he doesn't say it to Maverick because Maverick can't hear him, but he says it to the other pilots in the room that 2:15, that's impossible. So is it realistic? Well, not really. And again, something else there that's making great movie is making the impossible possible. So that's incredibly powerful. Now, is it time-based? Well, yes. That's the T of the SMART. Time-based. 2 minutes and 15 seconds. It's an exact precision time by which he's going to measure his progress and if he's really going to satisfy on this goal. So see, inside of just those 4 lines in this movie, a very poignant scene that's taken place. It's carrying incredible power. And there's so much that we can draw from that, and it's just really an inspirational scene for me. And in next week's Intention Monday, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about part 2 of this series, which is going to be the scene where they prepare to launch their F-18s and they're going into enemy territory, right? They're no longer on a practice run. And that, again, is an incredibly powerful scene, and there's a lot going on inside there that we can dissect as well. So if you're on live, again, let me know what you're thinking in the comments below. How is this applying to you? How are you going to take this, apply it to your business? Hashtag replay. Let me know the same thing, right? What are you getting from this? And what elements can you take and apply into this week specifically? And what elements do you want to roll out and just really use to improve your business and improve your offering and everything that you're doing? Thank you very much for watching, and until the next time, keep selling in alignment.